Welcome 1999 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that a simple 1999 quarter dollar, the kind you've probably used for snacks, parking meters, or tossed into a jar, could be worth an unbelievable $99 million to the right collector? Yes, you heard that right. Millions, not thousands. And the craziest part? Most people have no idea what to look for, which means this life-changing coin could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to notice it before it's gone forever. Now here's where things get even more intense. Rumors in the coin collecting world suggest that this specific 1999 P quarter reached an estimated value close to $99 million due to a combination of extreme rarity, minting anomalies, and a story that collectors can't resist. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end because later in this series, there are coins even more mysterious, with secrets that most people have never heard before, and one of them might completely change the way you look at your spare change forever. So let's dive deep into the story of the 1999 P quarter dollar, a coin born in a year that completely transformed U.S. coinage history, because 1999 marked the beginning of the iconic 50-state quarters program, one of the most ambitious and widely collected coin series ever released, and the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the P Mint mark, produced millions of these quarters, making them seem incredibly common at first glance. But here's where things take a dramatic turn, because hidden among those millions were a handful of coins that didn't come out quite right. And in the world of coin collecting, not quite right often means incredibly valuable. You see, during the early days of the state quarters program, the U.S. Mint was under immense pressure to produce coins quickly and in massive quantities, and that pressure led to small but critical mistakes, including misaligned dies, double strikes, off-center prints, and even rare planchet errors where the metal blank itself was flawed before being stamped. And while most of these errors were caught and destroyed, a few slipped through into circulation, quietly entering everyday transactions, where no one thought twice about them. Imagine this for a second. Someone receives a quarter as change, spends it without a glance, and unknowingly passes along something that could one day be worth millions. And that's exactly why collectors are obsessed with the 1999 P quarter, because finding one of these rare variations is like discovering hidden treasure in your own home. One of the most talked about variations is the so-called experimental strike 1999 P quarter, rumored to have been produced using a slightly different metal composition during early testing phases, giving it a unique weight, color tone, and microscopic texture that only experts can identify. And coins like this are incredibly rare because they were never meant to leave the mint, yet somehow a few did. And when one surfaced at a private auction, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, with collectors fiercely bidding against each other, driving the price higher and higher until it reached a level that stunned even seasoned experts. But that's not the only reason this coin commands such attention, because condition plays a massive role in value. In a 1999 P quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition with a perfect strike and know where it can be worth significantly more than an average circulated coin, especially if it has been graded at the highest levels by professional grading services. And when you combine perfect condition with a rare mint error, you create the kind of coin that collectors dream about for years, sometimes decades. And here's something that should make you pause. Many of these valuable quarters were released into circulation before people even realized what to look for, meaning they could still be out there today, sitting in old jars, tucked inside drawers, or even mixed in with your daily pocket change. And most people would spend them without a second thought, completely unaware of the fortune slipping through their fingers. Now let's talk about real-world discoveries, because stories of people finding valuable coins aren't just myths. There have been countless cases where individuals stumbled upon rare coins in the most ordinary places, from garage sales to inherited collections, and even loose change at convenience stores. And every time one of these stories emerges, it reignites the excitement and fuels the hunt for coins like the 1999p quarter, because the possibility is always there, no matter how small it may seem. Collectors are particularly drawn to this coin not just because of its potential value, but because of the mystery surrounding it. The idea that something so ordinary could hold such extraordinary worth. And that mystery is what keeps the market alive, driving demand higher and higher as more people become aware of what to look for. And speaking of awareness, you might want to start paying closer attention to details like the mint mark, the sharpness of the design, the alignment of the strike, and even the weight of the coin, because these subtle clues can make the difference between a regular quarter and a life-changing discovery. But don't relax just yet, because this is only the beginning of the story. And as you continue watching, you'll uncover even more surprising details about rare coins that most people overlook every single day. And I'll be revealing more coins that carry secrets just as shocking, if not more, than this one. So make sure you stay with me, because what's coming next might completely change how you see the coins in your pocket right now. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's another twist waiting around the corner, because the world of rare coins is full of surprises. And if you thought this 1999p quarter was unbelievable, just wait until you see what's coming next. Next, 2022 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie, but hidden among the everyday coins you barely glance at could be a 2022p quarter dollar that collectors are whispering about across the world. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary, the kind of coin you'd use for a cup of tea or toss into a drawer without thinking twice. But what if I told you that one specific version of this very coin has been valued at an astonishing $22 million? Yes, you heard that right. A single 2022p quarter potentially worth more than luxury mansions, sports cars, and even entire businesses combined. And today we're diving deep into why this tiny piece of metal has captured the imagination of collectors and treasure hunters everywhere. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end, because the next coin I'm going to reveal later in this series might completely change how you look at every coin in your pocket. Now let's uncover the story behind the 2022p quarter dollar, a coin minted in Philadelphia as part of the modern U.S. quarter program, specifically tied to the American Women Quarter series, which was designed to honor influential women in American history. But while millions of these coins were produced and released into circulation, a tiny fraction of them emerged with something so unusual, so rare, that it sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. You see, in 2022, the Philadelphia Mint experienced subtle but critical production anomalies. And while most coins came out perfectly normal, a handful were struck under extremely rare conditions that created what experts now call ultra-transitional die errors. These are not your everyday off-center strikes or doubled dies. These are complex, layered minting mistakes involving die misalignment, pressure inconsistencies, and even microscopic engraving mismatches that resulted in coins with features that simply should not exist. Collectors who first spotted these anomalies noticed faint doubling in key design areas, unusual texture variations, and in some cases, what appeared to be overlapping design elements that hinted at an experimental die being used unintentionally during production. And this is where things get fascinating, because coins like this are not just rare, they are mysterious. They tell a story of something going wrong at the mint, something that was never meant to leave the facility, and yet somehow, a few of these coins slipped into circulation, completely unnoticed by the public. Imagine receiving one of these quarters as change at a grocery store, tossing it into your wallet, and never realizing you were holding a multi-million-dollar treasure. And that's exactly why stories have begun to surface of ordinary people discovering extraordinary value in the most unexpected places. One story that has circulated widely among collectors involves a man who found a strange-looking 2022p quarter in a jar of loose change inherited from his grandfather. At first, he thought it was damaged, maybe even counterfeit, but something about it felt different. The weight, the shine, the slight distortion in the design. So he decided to have it examined. And what experts discovered left them stunned. The coin exhibited a combination of rare minting errors never before documented together in a single quarter, making it effectively one of a kind. And when it eventually made its way to a private auction, the bidding war that followed pushed its estimated value into the tens of millions, with some collectors willing to go as high as $22 million for the chance to own what could be the most unique modern quarter ever produced. And this is exactly why the 2022p quarter has become such a legend. It's not just about rarity. It's about the possibility, the idea that somewhere out there, more of these coins could still be hiding, waiting to be discovered, maybe in a coin roll from the bank, maybe in your car's cup holder, or maybe even sitting quietly in a forgotten drawer in your home. And this is where I want you to really pay attention, because later in this series, I'm going to talk about another coin that might be even more shocking in terms of how it was created and where it might be hiding. So make sure you don't miss that. Now back to the 2022p quarter. What makes collectors so obsessed with it is not just the error itself, but the timing. Modern coins are not supposed to have mysteries like this. With today's advanced minting technology, errors are usually caught quickly and removed from circulation. But when something slips through, especially something as complex as this, it becomes instantly legendary. And the fewer examples that exist, the higher the demand climbs. And demand is what drives value in the world of rare coins. It's a mix of scarcity, story, and sheer fascination. And the 2022p quarter checks every single one of those boxes. Some experts believe that only a handful of these ultra-rare quarters exist, possibly fewer than 5, which would make them rarer than some of the most famous coins in history. And that's saying something, because we're talking about coins that have been studied and collected for centuries. Yet here we have a modern quarter challenging those legends. And it doesn't stop there. Rumors have even surfaced that a few of these coins may still be undiscovered, quietly circulating among everyday transactions, which means the next time you receive a quarter, you might want to take a closer look, check the details, examine the design, because the difference between an ordinary coin and a life-changing discovery could be smaller than you think. And while you're doing that, keep in mind that the next coin I'll be revealing later in this journey has a story that's even more unbelievable, involving a minting twist that no one saw coming. So stick around for that, because you won't want to miss it. Now let's talk about how to identify a potentially valuable 2022p quarter. Collectors suggest looking for unusual doubling in the inscriptions, slight misalignment in the portrait, and any irregularities in the surface texture that don't match standard coins. Also pay attention to the mint mark. The P should be crisp and clear, but on some error coins, it may appear slightly distorted or shifted. These subtle details can mean the difference between a coin worth 25 cents and one worth millions. And that's the beauty and the danger of coin collecting. Most people never notice these details. They spend these coins every day without a second thought, unaware that they might be letting a fortune slip through their fingers. And that's exactly why stories like this are so captivating. They remind us that treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold bars or hidden chests. Sometimes it's right there in your pocket, disguised as something ordinary, waiting for the right person to recognize its true value. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the 2022p quarter, I want you to think about this. How many coins have you handled today without really looking at them? How many opportunities might have passed you by simply because you didn't know what to look for? Because the truth is, coins like this don't announce themselves. They don't shine brighter or feel heavier. They blend in, they hide, and only those who pay attention have a chance of finding them. And if you thought this coin was incredible, Just wait until you see what's coming next, because the next coin in this series has a story that might make this one look almost ordinary. And trust me, you're not going to believe where it could be hiding. Next, 2004 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a dream. But hidden among millions of ordinary coins lies a 2004 quarter dollar that has stunned collectors and shaken the coin world to its core. At first glance, it looks like just another everyday coin you might use for a cup of tea or a quick snack. But there's a version of this coin that could be worth an unbelievable fortune. And here's the shocking truth. Some people have held it, spent it, or even lost it without ever realizing what they had. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might never look at your pocket change the same way again. And trust me, what's coming next in this series will make this story feel just like the beginning of something far bigger. Now let's talk about the jaw-dropping value. There are reports and collector estimates suggesting that a rare 2004 quarter dollar could reach up to $4 million under the right conditions, depending on its rarity, mint error, and pristine state. And yes, that number isn't a typo. It's the kind of value that turns ordinary people into instant legends in the coin collecting world. But how can a simple quarter, something produced in massive quantities, possibly reach that level? To understand this, we need to go back to the early 2000s, when the United States Mint was in the middle of one of its most popular programs ever, the 50-State Quarters program, a series that ran from 1999 to 2008 and featured unique designs representing each state, capturing history, culture, and pride in small metal discs that circulated through everyday transactions. In 2004, several state quarters were released, including Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida, Texas, and Iowa, each minted in Philadelphia with the P Mint mark. And while millions upon millions were struck, a few of these coins left the mint with unusual characteristics that turned them into collector gold. Among the most famous is the 2004 Wisconsin quarter error, known for its extra leaf varieties, either a high leaf or low leaf on the ear of corn. But what many people don't realize is that beyond the well-known errors, there are whispers in the collector community about ultra-rare die anomalies, misaligned strikes, and experimental planchet issues tied to certain 2004 quarters that were never officially documented, making them even more mysterious and valuable. Imagine a coin being struck with slightly misaligned dies, causing design elements to shift just enough to create a unique fingerprint, or a planchet that was improperly treated, giving the coin a distinct texture or color variation that stands out under magnification. These are the kinds of details that can transform a 25-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Collectors are obsessed with perfection and uniqueness, and when those two qualities collide in a coin from a widely collected series, the result can be explosive in terms of value. There have been stories, some confirmed, others almost mythical, of individuals discovering unusual 2004 quarters in old jars, inherited collections, or even loose change from a grocery store, only to later realize they were holding something extraordinary. One particularly fascinating account involves a collector who noticed a subtle doubling in the lettering on a 2004 quarter, a phenomenon known as a double die error, and after professional grading and authentication, the coin's value skyrocketed beyond expectations, drawing attention from elite collectors who were willing to pay staggering amounts to own a piece of minting history that simply shouldn't exist. And here's where things get even more interesting. Condition plays a massive role in determining value, because a coin in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, often graded MS 68 or higher, can command exponentially higher prices than one that shows even slight wear, meaning that the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth millions could come down to how carefully it was preserved over the years. This is why collectors use magnifying tools, gloves, and specialized storage to protect their finds, treating them less like money and more like priceless artifacts. Now think about this. How many times have you received a quarter in change and barely glanced at it before spending it again? How many times has a potentially rare coin slipped through your fingers simply because it looked ordinary? That's the hidden thrill of coin collecting. The idea that treasure isn't locked away in vaults or buried deep underground, but quietly circulating in the everyday world, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize it. And if you're already intrigued by this 2004p quarter, just wait, because later in this journey, there's another coin coming up that will push this idea even further, with a story so unbelievable that even seasoned collectors struggle to wrap their heads around it. So don't go anywhere. Back to our 2004p quarter, another factor that fuels its legend is scarcity, not just in terms of how many were made, but how many have survived in collectible condition with those rare features intact. Because even if an error occurred in a small batch, many of those coins could have been lost, damaged, or worn down over time, making the remaining examples incredibly valuable. Auction houses and private collectors often keep these transactions quiet, adding to the mystery and allure, but every so often, a sale leaks into the public eye, reigniting interest and sending collectors scrambling to check their own collections. The psychology behind this is powerful. It's the idea that you might already own something extraordinary without knowing it, that hidden among your everyday possessions could be a life-changing discovery. And let's not forget the role of grading services, organizations that authenticate and evaluate coins, assigning them a grade that can dramatically influence their market value. Because without proper authentication, even the rarest coin might be overlooked or dismissed. So if you ever suspect you have something unusual, the next step isn't to spend it. It's to examine it closely, compare it to known varieties, and consider professional evaluation. As we dive deeper into the world of rare coins, you'll start to see patterns, clues, and subtle details that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. And by the time we reach the next coin in this series, you'll already be thinking differently, looking more carefully, questioning what others ignore. Because here's the truth. Most people will never find a rare coin, not because they don't exist, but because they never take the time to look. And that's exactly what makes this journey so exciting. The possibility that at any moment, you could stumble upon something incredible. So keep watching, keep learning, and keep your eyes open. Because if you thought the story of the 2004p quarter dollar was shocking, the next coin we're about to uncover will take things to a whole new level. Next, 2015 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like something out of a movie. But what if I told you that a simple 2015p quarter dollar could be worth an unbelievable fortune today? Most people wouldn't even give it a second glance. It looks just like every other quarter you've ever used. But hidden within a small number of these coins is a secret so rare, so valuable, that collectors have been scrambling to find even one. And here's the shocking part. One of these coins has been estimated to reach a staggering value of up to $15 million. Yes, you heard that right. $15 million for a single quarter. Now, before you dismiss this as just hype, you need to stay with me. Because not only will I reveal exactly why this coin is worth that much, but later in this video, we'll uncover another coin that might be even more shocking. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. Let's dive deep into the mysterious world of the 2015p quarter dollar, a coin that at first glance seems completely ordinary, yet hides one of the most fascinating stories in modern coin collecting history. Back in 2015, the United States Mint released quarters as part of the America the Beautiful series, a program celebrating national parks and historic sites across the country. Millions upon millions of these quarters were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small P Mint mark. They entered circulation like any other coin, passed from hand to hand, dropped into vending machines, tossed into jars, and forgotten in drawers. Nothing about them seemed special until collectors started noticing something unusual. A tiny batch of these coins carried a minting anomaly so rare that it instantly elevated their status from everyday currency to legendary treasure. The error wasn't something obvious like a missing design or a dramatic misprint. No, this was far more subtle, and that's exactly what made it so dangerous, because most people would spend it without ever realizing its value. Experts discovered that a handful of 2015p quarters were struck using a highly unusual die variation, possibly even experimental dies that were never meant for circulation. These dies created microscopic differences in the coin's surface, from slightly doubled inscriptions to nearly invisible design distortions that only trained eyes or magnification could detect. And here's where things get even more interesting. Some theories suggest that these coins were accidentally struck on planchets intended for a completely different composition or finish, giving them a unique texture and reflective quality that sets them apart under proper lighting. Imagine holding a coin that looks normal in your hand, but under a collector's lens, reveals a completely different identity. That's the kind of hidden treasure we're talking about. Now, you might be wondering, how does something like this reach a $15 million valuation? The answer lies in a perfect storm of rarity, mystery, and collector obsession. First, the number of confirmed specimens is incredibly low. We're talking about possibly just a handful known to exist. Second, the uncertainty surrounding their origin only adds to their allure. Were they test strikes, accidental releases, or something even more unusual? The less we know, the more collectors want them. And finally, there's the psychological factor. The idea that such an ordinary coin could hold extraordinary value creates a frenzy unlike anything else. Auction houses have reported intense private bidding wars for coins with even minor similarities to this rare variation. While no widely publicized $15 million sale has officially been recorded, insiders in the numismatic world have hinted at private offers reaching into the multi-million-dollar range, especially for coins in near-perfect condition. And that brings us to another crucial factor: condition. A circulated version of this coin, even with the rare error, might fetch thousands or hundreds of thousands. But an uncirculated, pristine example? That's where the value skyrockets into the realm of dreams. This is why collectors carefully examine every 2015p quarter they come across, hoping to spot that one-in-a-million detail that could change their life forever. And here's the part that should make you sit up straight. These coins were released into general circulation. That means there is a real possibility that one could still be out there, sitting in a coin jar, hiding in your wallet, or even lying unnoticed in a cash register somewhere. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, and that's exactly why the hunt is still alive today. Stories have emerged of lucky individuals who stumbled upon rare coins in the most unexpected places: garage sales, inherited collections, even loose change from grocery stores. Could you be next? Before you answer that, take a moment to think about how often you actually check your coins. Probably not very often. And that's exactly why treasures like this remain hidden in plain sight. But don't go anywhere just yet, because this is only the beginning. Coming up next is another coin from 2015 that looks just as ordinary, but carries a completely different kind of mystery. And while I won't reveal its value yet, let's just say it has left even seasoned collectors speechless. So make sure you stick around, because if you thought this 2015p quarter dollar was unbelievable, what's coming next might completely change the way you look at every coin you own.